Hey, Bethany.
Hey, Charlie.
Always fun to have you here to answer questions that I say, I don't know. I like the real world questions. I was talking to a client yesterday who lives in Virginia. He's been a lifelong Air Force, and what do I call it? Airman, I guess. He's an officer getting ready to retire. Thinks he may have 100% disability. By the time he retires in about a year, they're definitely coming back to the area. And one of the questions he asked me is, should I try to buy my San Antonio home while I'm still officially in the Air Force and have not dropped those retirement papers? Because I do know income is very important in qualifying for a mortgage. So I had no idea where to start. I know I've seen different scenarios, and I just wondered what's typical, Bethany.
So typical, a lot of it depends on how much longer they have in service. We can use future income for veterans on what they will retire at,
Okay.
but they really need to start receiving that within 60 days of us closing on the loan. So sometimes the timing doesn't quite work out.
Okay.
Um, so if they're getting close to retirement, we can definitely use future retirement if they're going to start receiving it within 60 days of closing. The
Okay.
other thing that we see a lot of are veterans that already have other jobs lined up after they're going to retire from service.
Okay.
And we can also use that future income if they're going to start within that 60-day time frame as well. If the work that they're going to be doing is related to what they were doing, in this case, the Air Force.
Okay.
So we are able to use some of that future income, so to say. But if they're retiring within the year and that their expected time of service ends within the year, we can't use their full base income to qualify at that point.
Okay, so for somebody living in Virginia, for example, they think, oh, I want to buy that San Antonio home while I still have my full employment. You're going to ask, why the house in San Antonio? And when the answer is, well, we're going to retire in a couple months and move there, that's kind of a
Yes. Now, there are extenuating circumstances that we've seen before that a veteran will retire in 2 to 3 years, but their spouse
uh-huh.
is going to live here as primary residents full time, and the plan being that they come after.
Okay.
They are finished retiring, say they live on base, they don't really have housing expense. That could be something that we could look at if it makes sense and they are truly buying it as a primary residence.
Is there any sort of timeline on that? Is there a VA guideline that says as long as it's, tell me.
You have to move in as your primary residence within 60 days of closing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a spouse moving in is as primary residence does fall into that most times, that we could look at, but it is very much a case-by-case scenario.
I like that. Could sound like a little hack for some people.
Yes.
Of course, we don't ever want to hack our lender friends because we sign lots of things that says, I'm telling you the truth, and I understand I will go to federal prison if I lie.
Yes, and they're using AI technology now to catch people that said they were going to live into a home as their primary and did not move in. The technology is getting crazy out there, so you never, ever, ever, ever want to commit mortgage fraud.
No, tell me about that a little bit, because I have had VA eligible buyers say, ooh, I want to use this no money down program to buy my first investment property. And I tell them, you cannot do that. It says right there very clearly that it has to be your primary resident. I'm sure Boy Scouts honor say that I've never been a part of anything like that, but I got to believe it has happened, or people just don't ask the right questions and it just happens. But so tell me about this technology. This is really interesting. What are they doing?
So it's new. I don't know all of the specifics, but I do know it is a big thing that they're doing right now to really hold people accountable and get out of anybody trying to do that. mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
They're looking to see in the database, whatever they're using, have they changed their driver's license? Have they moved their utility bills into their name?
Okay.
Is it listed on Airbnb as an investment property? There's a lot of different things. I don't know all of the specifics, but I do know that we have been warned that it is a major thing happening right now in the industry, and to definitely, whatever your intent is what you should be doing, and you should not be trying to fool anybody, because definitely it will have major repercussions.
And is that the VA that is running that AI?
No, it's not VA specifically. It's just mortgage across the board.
Okay.
All mortgages. So
interesting.
Yes.
Any other interesting trends, or what are you seeing with folks applying here in the Boerne area? What are you seeing? What kind of price points are people hoping to buy at?
So price points vary. A lot of times in the Boerne area, you're looking probably around the 400,000 to 700,000 range. I'm seeing a lot of people that right now are upgrading, and so they are upsizing, I guess I should say, where they are having larger families. They want to move into a bigger property, and the equity that they've accumulated over the last few years, they're able to put large down payments on to the next one. But that's not to say that, there aren't still the first time home buyers that have great opportunities. And my whole thing is start now. Even if you haven't purchased a home before and you're a little bit worried because you don't have that larger down payment, there are still a lot of really great options for you for low down payment, and start building that wealth so that when you do want to upsize, you will have that equity as well to put onto the next house.
Another thing, and even if somebody doesn't think they're going to make a home purchase until the spring, excuse me, I've encouraged people in the past to reach out to you now, just so you can take a look at their credit, because I know there sometimes are easy little tweaks that you can help people improve their credit score. And the higher your interest score, the lower your interest rate. And some of these improvements may take 3, 4, 5 months. What are some of the easy tweaks that you've been able to advise people to make to improve their credit score?
The biggest one that you're going to have the most bang for your buck are your credit cards. Any of your revolving credit, you want to make sure that whatever your high balance limit is on that credit card, let's just say it's $300 is your high balance limit. You never want to put more than $90 on that card at any given time. Okay. So you want to be at the 30% or less threshold for whatever those credit card limits are. And that's when you're going to start seeing your major score increases. And to your point, even if they have a 700 credit score now, the difference right now between 700 and 720 or 740 is quite a bit different. So even if you have a high score, there's always room for a little improvement for the most part to help with getting those interest rates down.
And it's not just about that mortgage interest rate. Those higher credit scores can also help you on your home insurance rates, can't it?
That's correct. Yes, absolutely.
Seems kind of crazy, but it matters. Everybody likes higher credit scores seem to be better. I don't know why.
Well, cool. Ability to repay is what we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's always fun to have you on. If there's ever a question that any of our viewers have, you can email us. You can put them in the comments. We'd love to answer them in the future. Bethany, Legacy Mutual Mortgage, how do people reach you if they want to chat with you about getting a home loan?
They call you, Charlie, and they'll send them my way.
I like the way you work. All right. Fantastic. You have a great day. Thanks so much for your time, Bethany.
Thanks, Charlie.